That's one thing that I can't.
Okay.
No, yeah, that was a very, very sad Easter for your father, for my brother Irving and I when we saw him in the Seattle Times big Easter egg hunt in Seattle.
Oh.
And so
Uh-huh.
I mean, we were about 10 or 11 or so,
Uh-huh.
and the switch over there.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And your dad, you told
Yeah,
did you tell
my
your dad?
would go in to work every day, but real early in the morning, as we rode into Seattle with him, and I don't know how we got out to Woodland Park in Seattle, but we did, and the hundreds or thousands of kids, and it was
Easter.
their fastest Easter egg hunt, and so we when they lowered the gates or whatever it was, and he and I went out there, but we didn't get a thing.
Oh, no.
But there's so many kids competing for the eggs.
Wow.
But
It was like a zoo, huh?
yes, it sure
It
was.
was at the zoo, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It was at the zoo, right? I learned. I guess that's why it's like a. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Did I tell you? I told you about once when Irving and I went to the zoo. Did I tell you about the peas? I mean, we're doing. We get all this work done. We can go to the Woodland Park Zoo, and we're doing a lot of work. And so Irving and I took picked. We had peas and acres of peas. So we picked a bag of nice green peas, and
Nice.
and so then we got to the monkeys. We throw them a pea, and you think they would grab it and eat it or something, but they take that pea and open it up and take out the.
And
Wow.
They open up the pod and
peas.
Wow.
take out the peas.
the individual.
And
Wow.
then
Well, that
they
was
loved it, and
Huh.
better than peanuts, I'm sure. I mean,
yeah.
they
Yeah.
enjoyed it more than peanuts.
And so you, on the farm, you picked all those peas? Did you pick those
Well,
peas?
don't you remember, Linda, all the peas and beans that we used to raise?
Yeah.
No, you were too young then. Yeah, that was during the war.
It was before the Ming.
Oh,
Right.
yes, yeah, before the mink, or when they started
So
getting the mink.
peas and
Oh, we had
beans
acres and
and
acres.
corn, or what else did you
We had peas and beans mainly.
Peas and beans.
We picked them and take them into the packing sheds in Kent. They had big packing sheds
Oh.
for lettuce and for peas and corn and
Yeah, these days if they don't have something mechanical,
yeah,
they'll have
they also
Mexicans picking that stuff.
they also we remember in Kent where they had Libby McNeil in
Yeah,
Libby
yeah.
Yes.
canning beans
Right.
and peas and that.
Right. And then sweet peas, did you raise those
Oh
at the same time?
yeah, as kids. Oh yeah.
Flowers.
We'd raise them in a basket, and we'd hike. We'd hike on the railroad in the tracks, a shortcut into Kent, and go around to houses and knocking on doors, and 10 or 20 cents a bunch, or
Wow.
oh yeah,
Just the two of you? Just the two of you did that?
yeah. Well, Irving and I were sort of the same age. Richard was older, so he wasn't in our. We didn't hang around much with him.
Right.
Well,
You did.
Mother said that she went in our wagon. You hooked the wagon up and sell eggs at the market. Do you remember that?
I don't remember
But
that.
I don't know who it was.
She went with somebody.
she went with somebody in the wagon.
Oh,
Who was next to her age? Was that
well,
Gordon?
it would be Gordon. Yeah,
Gordon was older?
Gordon and
yeah. It would have to be. Yeah, she was Ed, Bertha, Gordon,
Oh.
and Richard.
see, she's in second in line.
Okay,
Yeah.
I thought she was third. Okay, she's
Yeah.
second on. Mm-hmm.
Could be. 'Cause We did, my mother did raise a lot of chicken. We had the big chicken house there.
I remember it.
Yeah. Remember us, we had a Halloween party, church Halloween party. We held it in the chicken house.
In the chicken house.
Yeah.
I like chickens. If I knew I was gonna be around a lot, I would have chickens. I
And your
love
own
chickens
eggs.
running in the yard, yes.
Wow.
Oh, that movie is called Yukon Men or something like that. Like last week they showed they're raising chickens there, and and it's difficult to have raised chickens up in Alaska because they but and they were saying that they don't really eat the eggs. The eggs are great for trading with your neighbors for other things.
Huh.
Oh.
Andrew, Donette's boy,
Yeah.
he has chickens. Well, now they have to make their house, they have to change their house. So, because it's just a little house. And so Terry went over there, being an architect, and said, we'll take out this wall, and we'll take out this wall,
Oh,
and
wow.
that wall. And so they taking out the walls in that house, because now there's 3 of them. Cecilia and
How old is Andrew?
Andrew
When
is
he was raising the chickens.
24, 25,
Oh,
and he has chickens. And
how many?
I don't know.
Like,
I can't
10
say,
or
but
12 or 15,
he has
20?
he has quite a few chickens.
Okay.
But he doesn't have a very big yard, because Cecilia will be playing in the yard, and Donette says, and there'll be poop every place.
Well, Andrew's married now.
Huh?
Is it Andrew?
Andrew's married.
When I think you say Andrew, I think of a
Uh-huh.
child.
And
Okay.
he has a little girl.
Yeah, okay.
And so, anyway, and I said, well, golly, Andrew, you're gonna be lost without your chickens. And he's gonna keep just a few chickens. Because he's got good layers. They
Yeah.
lay every day.
Yeah.
Right.
It's interesting when in Alaska, one of the chickens, they have a cannibal chicken. Chickens can pick on one and actually kill them. And they're trying to find which is
Chicken is.
the cannibal. They don't know.
Oh.
But you should watch that program, Yukon Men.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
And
I never heard of it.
It's on cable, yeah.
yeah,
Oh.
but it shows you how they live in the winter and in the summer and that. And one person there has about 40 dogs. Trains them as sled dogs,
For sledding.
and they have to catch salmon, and because 40 dogs take a lot of food through the winter.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, wow. Huh. 40 dogs. Ooh. And especially in the winter. I mean,
Yeah.
They probably use them for
Well, you
sledding too.
for sledding, yeah.
Getting around.
Yeah, well.
Because you have to have a lot of dogs for sledding.
Either that or a lot of gasoline to put in your snowmobiles. They use a lot of snowmobiles now, but yeah, with the dogs, all you have to do is catch salmon.
Well, Sarah Palin.
Yes.
There was shows on her, and the family, all the family situation. And that's interesting. About every week or once a month or something, they would have a big show on Sarah Palin.
Oh, okay, yeah, I
family.
was trying to think now, okay, now I know it's her, but yes.
Right.
Yeah. Ran with McCain for vice president. We actually saw her when we were in Anchorage
Oh, did you?
before the election, yeah.
Oh, when
We happened to be up there for...
when she was a governor.
yes, she was the governor.
Oh, okay.
We were up there
For
for...
a wedding. Yeah. Jeannie and Ron's sons
Christopher's wedding.
in Homer.
Oh.
Janie's son, yeah.
I sent them something and I never heard.
They're not very good.
Have you seen the actress who played her in the movie?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sarah Palin?
Tina Fey. Tina
Oh,
Fey.
Tina-
Yeah, she's a dead ringer for her, really.
Oh, really? Was that a movie?
A movie, yeah. They made
Oh no, the HBO movie. That was.
Oh, right. No,
She's
we
actually a
haven't.
redhead.
I don't think we've seen that.
Naturally,
Yeah.
I saw bits and pieces of it, and yeah, I didn't watch the whole
But
thing.
she, because she was running for
Vice
president.
right?
That was sort of a.
No,
She-
she didn't do.
She wasn't ready.
No,
Well,
she
no,
was,
yeah,
she
she
was running with
opens her
McCain.
mouth and without thinking what she's saying,
Right.
or
No,
pretends
no.
that she knows all the.
But she's evidently not even very popular in Alaska anymore.
no.
No, not since she gave up the governorship.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But how long were you in the house in Kent, the ranch house?
Well, lived in there. Well, I was born there. I was born and
In that
not,
little
not in the house, but I was born in Auburn Hospital.
yeah,
Right.
with that little room in the back. That
Yeah.
that was Harold's room.
Yeah, I don't know about how we all lived in that
At
house.
the round house?
Yeah, because
No,
it's
but
not.
the first two, because I remember Grandma would say, you know, she always had the Richfield News on.
Oh, that's
you know,
right. The Richfield
when
is.
she, in the kitchen.
There was a Richfield reporter, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so Grandma would say, the boys have got to get up. And we'll go and get them up, Grandma. And she'd take the broom and he was singing. But they didn't get up. This is Richard and Irv. They didn't want to get up.
And where
so,
was it?
so we had permission, Valen and I had permission to go up and put water on them.
Yeah.
Or ice. Right. Dad used
Yeah.
to do those. Oh.
Yeah.
Now, where were the bedrooms? Up above the
Okay,
kitchen?
there was, you go up the stairs, there was
stairs.
the one
Yeah.
bedroom off to the side,
On the right or
and
on
then
two on the
Grandma's
left?
room was the big
Yeah.
one.
The end one.
The
Yeah.
one bedroom right on, looking out over the front door.
Yes.
That was your mother's bedroom.
Oh, okay, that's the one where I was.
Yeah.
That was
oh,
my bedroom.
Uh-huh.
And then on the other side, was there two bedrooms or one bedroom?
Two bedroom.
Two bedrooms.
In order to
Well,
in order to get into the corner bedroom, you had to walk through. And there's no hallway there. You go
Right.
from one bedroom into
Right.
the other bedroom, and
Oh, and then there was that bedroom kind of back at the end, off the, you know,
well,
the
that
main.
was Harold's bed.
Oh, off to the left there, that little one.
yeah.
The little one.
Oh, okay, I didn't
It's
know what
long.
you were talking about.
It was long.
Oh,
I remember it was
yeah.
long.
Right.
And
Wasn't real big.
And then where
No.
was Dad's room?
He shared one with Richard.
And where was that?
That was
next
before
Yeah.
you
on?
went to the
near-
little one.
Is that near your room? Next to your
I don't
room?
know.
You had, where there was no opening, Harold, you had to go through
Right, the other
through
room.
their bedroom
Right.
to get to your bedroom.
Right,
Yeah. Right. Huh.
You know, if it was a big house,
Well, yeah,
But
I don't know where everybody slept.
I know. Then when you come in the front door, there was that room. Was that ever a
Yeah,
bedroom?
well,
That was a
that was
cleaning.
sort of a room was never used for anything.
well, that's where the housekeeper stayed.
Not,
The housekeeper?
I don't think so.
I thought that
She
that's-
stayed up. I just don't remember.
When was there a housekeeper there? She was helping take care of the
yeah.
kids?
Oh,
My mother always
Yeah, she always had somebody.
somebody
Living
helping,
there,
yeah.
helping with all the kids, because there's so
Yeah,
many
I
kids.
remember.
Ellen and I
Miss-
took care of
Mrs.
a lot of
Goebel
that. We
worked
were
there.
the fairies.
Do you remember a couple working there called Gert and Peck? Gert and Peck, and she was a housekeeper and he was to work out on the farm.
Oh.
And I never
Yeah,
heard that name.
yeah, Gert and Peck. I mean, Peck was a drunk.
Oh,
And I remember Peck was going to help my father. They were going to make some wine, and they're together. And
Yeah.
and Peck kept on tippling on the wine all the time. I think my father got very much.
Kind of
of it.
wine did they have?
I think they're made out of cherries or something like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you can, well, I don't know exactly what it is, liquor,
There's
really.
dandelion
Yeah.
wine too.
Yeah, I remember picking dandelions for my father. We're making dandelion wine.
Dandelion
Oh,
wine.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I've never tasted it.
I've
but
heard of that. I didn't know you could actually do that.
It's pretty good.
Out of the
I heard.
blossoms. Out of the
Yeah, well, there would be no shortage, would there? And it grows fast.
yeah.
Yeah.
Kuchenbecker, does that?
Oh, yes.
That was on the other side of the railroad track.
Right?
That somebody, yeah, I remember.
Kuchenbecker. You remember,
I remember that.
Jeannie Kuchenbecker and Irving were pretty close together for a couple of years?
Well, I remember that, but I
And
don't
then Alice?
remember the name of the.
I mean, that was his girlfriend?
Oh, yes, yeah.
You didn't
Did
know that?
Richard have one?
Yes, they're
But I know
I
that
think
name.
they even used to go roller skating together up at Redondo, and that's where your dad met your mother.
Right.
At the roller skating rink.
So where was that house? Was that, you go over the railroad tracks,
Over in
or
the
is that
first house
big
right
house
there.
to the
Right
left?
on the other side.
Yeah.
Oh, right on the right?
Well, there's only one house there.
There's only one
Because
house.
there was, you go down there and there was another house on the left.
Well, there were a couple other houses.
Because I had a
there.
friend who lived in that house.
Oh, I don't
But
know,
the
but I
Kuchen-
remember
Kuchenbecker.
their house.
Kuchenbecker, yeah.
Oh, I remember that name,
Yeah.
yeah.
They were nice people.
Kuchenbeckers.
Remember Mrs. Kuchenbecker used to play the piano and
Oh. Wow.
I don't remember that.
yeah.
Yeah.
There was
I
a
know
there
that
was a
name.
farm before you, on this side.
Remember the Kuchers?
Kuchers.
They had a good daughter, a little bit older. No, you don't. They lived by our house further over.
Okay, just over that way.
Yeah. Just north of
No,
our house, yeah.
I didn't know him, but I knew there was a
Yeah.
house over there.
And didn't they work on the ranch? Come and help them work on?
No.
No.
But I remember the crick, you know.
Oh,
in the
yes.
pit.
Oh, the fun I used to have it in the creek.
The creek?
And it
Did you ever?
Way out back?
Did you ever help me make a dam?
Oh.
We would just out of sod and
I think
Yeah.
so,
and
yes,
we'd make a
yes.
dam the water up.
And then,
Right.
and then catch those little
Crayfish, and we had eels and we had
eels,
little minnows.
eels. It
Yes.
was
Eels, wow.
And did you remember you used to dig for arrowheads?
I
The
don't know.
Indians.
We're not really.
I-
We would find we found them occasionally. We found a couple of them anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
That is something, isn't it? From the
Okay, we'll have to.
And then have the little wires for the hangers, and you can cook eggs
Oh, really?
and potatoes.
I guess I should go try to.
Yeah,
Do you
I
remember? Do you remember where we
Okay.
could?
Last 20
We would
minutes.
the fire would be burning. We'd take a potato and put it right in the fire in the coals.
I got
on my
errand. I'll be
I
back.
don't remember that.
Oh, but they tasted so good. Oh, you.
I remember having this can, like a Crisco can.
yeah.
And then it had wires, you know, that you could,
Lift it.
and it was your thing. And you make this little fire pit, and we boil eggs.
And the eggs were in that
We
Crisco can?
didn't boil potatoes though, Barbara.
No,
The
it was
potatoes,
eggs.
we had a fire, we put the
Oh.
the potatoes right in the fire, and they get all black on the outside.
Uh-huh.
And then we'd break them open and,
Oh,
and, just,
nice.
and peel off all the black stuff and eat the,
No, we didn't cook potatoes because that would take a long time.
yeah.
Yeah.
But we cooked eggs.
Oh, golly.
And I remember eating chicken mash.
Oh, yeah, I used
What
to.
is that?
Well, we'd buy the big gunny sacks, big sacks of chicken feed. Yeah, I used to
Uh-huh.
eat.
Mash, it was
well,
a mash.
Well, it was bran.
Yeah.
It was bran, and it tasted
Uh-huh.
good.
And we ate that, and it was good.
Probably it was very unsanitary, but we liked
And
it.
it was good. It's just like the glue, you know, at school,
Yeah, yeah.
You used to eat the glue.
The white paste, the white paste.
White paste. And they finally just, I think they finally just took that away. Because, they were having a hard time keeping that because kids ate it.
And did you get some effects from eating
Yeah,
it?
I remember what it tasted like too.
Is that because you were eating it?
Yeah.
And it was kind of good, wasn't it?
Yeah, it had a special flavor. It wasn't sweet or anything, but
I don't know what the
no.
flavor was, but it was kind of good.
yeah, it was just sort of a white paste like, and
Uh-huh.
And it was a white paste.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
Mm.
In little jars.
In,
You spoon or a
in
wooden
jars.
spoon
or
I don't
something?
remember. I don't remember
Yeah.
the jars or anything. But
Another thing, do you remember on your desk ink wells on your desk
Yeah.
where they have the ink?
Uh-huh.
That's
In the
really-
the
wooden,
what?
there'd be a place to put
a
the
little
ink.
hole there,
Little
and
hole.
where a little
Oh,
bottle.
yeah. Ink well.
Yeah, an ink well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it was the inkwell. I got 2 marks here from I ran into barbed wire.
Oh wow.
Barbed wire
Yes.
at the mink ranch.
Mm.
When they were
Oh, yeah.
breeding, then
Right.
they just wire.
Uh-huh.
Just barbed
So you
wire.
stay away and not make
And
noise?
I was running,
Sure.
and I ran
Oh,
in
no.
right
You could do
into it.
yeah. Cause
And
you
I
would,
still have
just
those
one
marks.
wire, you wouldn't really see it if you're
Oh,
just running
wow.
excited playing.
Uh-huh. To keep you awake because you had to be
Yeah.
really quiet when they were mating. The
Going
mink were
getting back
mating.
to the inkwell, do you remember? Did the kids ever take a daffodil and put it in the yeah,
The
at your
what?
desk? Take a daffodil when the daffodils you'd be around
Nah.
in the springtime. You pick a daffodil, put it in the inkwell, and the daffodil would turn blue.
Right.
It suck up after a couple hours.
Oh, it would turn. Oh.
Yeah, it suck up the
It
ink.
kind of goes in the veins.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Hmm.
There was a lot of, I remember when you were making root beer.
Oh golly, that
Really?
yes.
You made a lot of root
Oh
beer.
yes. Yeah.
How do you
In
make
that-
that?
But
In
it's very easy. You buy a bottle of Hires root beer extract,
Uh-huh.
and and one bottle would make 5 gallons. And we had a great big metal aluminum pan or something, and it held 5 gallons of water. And so just the extract, yeast.
Mm.
I
You
think
made
that's
a lot. You made a lot of.
I don't think, because I think the extract had the sugar in it, and it was real easy to make, and it was very, very good. We would put, I remember once we put in too much yeast, and it blew the tops off. Yeah, we had a
And that was big.
machine that would put the bottle there and put down and
Oh my
it clamped
gosh.
the bottle cap on.
That was.
And that preserve it with that cap on, then it would last. You wouldn't have to refrigerate
Well,
it.
you'd have to let it sit for about a week or so.
Never lasted
then-
that much long.
Yeah, but,
You drink it.
no, because we'd drink it up.
Yeah.
But it was very inexpensive, and
And I remember the little room. It was a furnace room.
Oh,
Where
yeah.
you made it.
In the house?
yeah,
Outside the house,
Outside.
there were
Is it
Oh,
furnace room?
yeah.
That's-
Out from the back porch?
yeah,
Yeah.
where they had the washing machine out there
Oh,
too.
yeah. Right.
I don't know about that, but
Huh.
Yeah,
I remember that's where it was at.
uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
Well, I also remember storing it in that little room there in the downstairs. That little room that was never used for anything. You know that.
Furnace room.
No,
Oh.
well, I know, but there was another. As you're going up the stairs, you go up the stairs a little bit here, and then there's a landing here, and then the stairs goes up this way. Well, as you go up the stairs, and then there's a room right over here. It had all the windows around on it. You don't remember?
No, I don't
Well,
remember
that's the
that.
place where we used to also store the root beer.
But I remember there was a bathroom, an extra bathroom.
Yes.
You didn't have to go in the house, you just,
It was back
yeah,
behind
it
the
had-
chestnut tree.
yeah, you
Yes,
just.
but it had a door
That was
from the
nice.
outside,
Yeah.
and it had just it just had a toilet and I guess a wash basin there, a little tiny thing.
Remember that
So you-
time when my dad went under the house to check something? You didn't have electricity
I
and
heard
he was
about that. I
electrocuted.
wasn't around
They did
there.
He was
What?
electrocuted underneath he went under the house, he was electrocuted. And so mom called like 911 for the fire trucks to come, and Uncle Richard went under there and he saved his life.
drug him out.
Yeah, he drug him out.
Yeah, because there was only about so much space between the ground and the house, so you're just crawling along, and you couldn't help but the wiring was up above here, and so as he's crawling along there, doing what he had to do to touch that
And he
wire, and
touched it.
no, he could have died.
Oh yeah, he
If
could
it
have.
had
And
not been
the
for-
fire engines came and everything. So Uncle Richard dragged him
Saved
out
his
of there.
life.
Yeah, he saved his life, and then the fire trucks were there to continue the rest of the rescue.
Imagine how long it took the fire truck to get there, though.
I know.
How did they? I guess they had a telephone then.
Yeah, mom called.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember it took many years before we had a telephone there. We'd always have to go down over the tracks over to the neighbors to use the telephone.
To use the telephone?
Is
Yeah.
that right?
We didn't have a telephone in the house.
Wow.
No, it was about what the time when you kids were born is when we put the telephone in.
Huh.
I'll be darned. Well, I remember when the World War II came, and we went, Mother and Daddy and Ronnie and I all went down to the ranch because of Gordon.
Uh-huh.
You know, there's a war now, and Gordon's over there,
Oh, and
In the Philippines.
in the Philippines. Uh-huh.
and the radio was always on top of a
Yes,
refrigerator.
that's right. I do remember that.
See,
Yes.
my memory goes way back.
Yeah.
I have a lot of memory,
Wow, nice.
old storage
Yes.
back there. And,
That was the second
but
radio.
we didn't know what to do because Gordon is over there, you know, and there were my folks and Grandma, we were discussing
Uh-huh.
what they were going to do, you know,
Right.
to
right.
find out how Gordon was.
Oh, gee.
That's when he was a prisoner of war in the Philippines.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. They knew that.
Yeah.
They
Oh
found
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
we knew that. I have the Red Cross. A
Yes.
letter from the
Yes, that's right, Lou. We did get a letter.
Uh-huh. I have a letter from the
Yeah.
Red Cross. You know, so that we could send stuff to
Uh-huh.
Gordon.
Yeah, I remember Gordon telling me that he wasn't starving quite as much as the other people were, because he was one of the cooks,
Oh.
and so
But
he
he had the garden. He had the gardens. Him and a friend had. They planted their food.
Yeah.
And they had that because the Philippine guerrillas would come in at night
oh yeah,
and
Give them
bring them stuff.
uh-huh.
Oh.
And
Wow.
was it? Gordon said, "See, I was going to be graduating." Yeah,
From high school?
from high school. Well,
Yes.
but I didn't graduate until 51. But Gordon wanted to know what did I want for graduation.
Oh my God.
And what did I want? I wanted a black pearl necklace. And you know, I never got it. I got a ring. I still have the ring that
Okay.
Gordon, it says Gordon underneath, you know, in the
Uh-huh.
gold,
Wow.
a jade.
Oh.
Oh,
That
right.
he
I
sent
still
you?
have
He
that.
sent you or brought home
he brought
when
that-
he
He
came?
he
From
gave
me.
that to me for graduation.
Ah,
Oh wow. Huh. And you still have that?
Yeah.
Huh. So he came back, and then he returned.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then he left again.
So he was still in the service, or did he
But
go there to
no,
work?
no.
he was.
He never was in the service. He
No, he
was
is in
working
a
in
gold
a
mine.
gold mine there
Oh, that's
in
right.
the
And-
town of Baguio. It's
and
up
the
in the
Jap-
mountains.
Oh.
Baguio is a beautiful place. It's sort of a resort area
Is it?
today. It's up in the mountains, and it's cool because of the elevation and pine trees and things around there.
Well, the Japanese, they closed up the mines. You know,
Oh, sure.
they blew them up so that their mine was never really damaged.
Yeah.
Was just getting to. But when he did come home, I don't remember seeing Gordon,
Huh.
but I know that he bought a Chev, a car.
Oh, really?
It was a Chevrolet car, and then put Cadillac stuff on it.
I do, when Gordon came home from the war, toward the tail end of the war, I started working with the Mexican laborers that used to come there, and I was working in Portland, Oregon.
Oh,
at
really?
at the Department of Agriculture, because we set up huge, big labor camps where 200 or 300 Mexicans they'd live in tents, or they'd set up a kitchen there and a little hospital, but like a big army camp. So I was working in those during
I'll be darned, I didn't know that.
Was that the Bracero program?
yeah, the Bracero program. That was the first of it. Yeah, it started in 1942. This was around 1945 when I was working.
Huh.
And because I remember I was working in Portland, Oregon, in their offices before they sent me into it, just learning the ropes. And I remember Gordon coming through. They came in on a ship called the Gripsholm, a Swedish ship, I think in San Francisco. And then he was coming on the train from San Francisco up to Seattle. And I was down at the train station in Portland hoping to see him come through, but I never did.
Wow.
But you never saw him?
No, that was an interesting job that I had in 1945, working in the Mexican labor camps.
I'll be darned, I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
And what were you doing? You were in the office, did you say?
Well, I'd be working in the office because I could speak Spanish. 2 years of high school Spanish, and so that was one reason why I hired. Because we had to feed them and house them, and we had a nurse there in the camp.
Wow.
It was a very interesting job. I lived in one of the tents,
I bet
Huh.
it was.
and I was learned.
Well, how come you didn't stay doing that?
You got a better job, huh?
Well, they started closing them up after the war.
Oh,
No,
I see.
I wanted to go to the university,
Oh,
and so
okay.
I started at the University of
So,
Washington. And
was that after high school and before
oh, yeah,
college?
yeah, after high school. During high school, I used to with my C- Spanish. I'd go down and try to talk with them because they had some big camps right in the outskirts of Kent,
Uh-huh.
and so I'd go down and talk to
Oh,
them. And,
great.
yeah, it was an interesting job,
Yeah.
and it paid pretty good money. And
And you got your Spanish down pretty good, huh? I learned a lot of Spanish.
No,
We'll learn the swear words in a few.
Yeah.
How was their Spanish? Well,
Well, they were just farm laborers, and many of them didn't speak too good Spanish,
really.
but it was a fun job.
Huh. And then you went to the university. Which university?
University of Washington.
Okay. And you went there for how many years?
Yeah, I remember my first day of school. I got it started in the middle of the midterm. I started in January, the classes.
Yeah.
I remember at that time I was working at the we had two apartment houses, the Park Lane
LaSalle.
and the LaSalle, and I had a little room down in the bottom of the LaSalle,
Uh-huh.
the older hotel, where I could sleep, and and they had a little bit of a little tiny kitchen or something there. And so I could live there while I go to university.
Nice.
And my job was to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. And every apartment had a garbage can. You had to go down up and down the hall, emptying all the garbage cans.
Right.
And
Open the little door.
Yeah, the little door. Yeah.
All right.
And
Do they have that fancy elevator?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Do you love that elevator? Remember that elevator closed?
But
I don't remember the
but,
elevator, but when I was living at Park Lane. Yeah, the Park Lane on Harbor.
Yeah, you lived for a little while in the LaSalle. There was a little couple tiny rooms.
Oh, did I?
I think, yes, you did.
Well, anyway, I was working, and I wouldn't take the elevator. I ran down the stairs.
Wow.
I got in trouble because of that.
Oh, you're
I'm
not.
making too much noise?
Yeah, because of going down steps. You know, the stairs.
Oh.
And it's all carpeted and everything,
Yeah,
you know,
red
but somebody,
carpet.
I don't know who it was
They heard you.
that complained.
Oh.
But I got in trouble for that. And another thing I got in trouble for was where the garbage can is, you know, outside. They
Yeah,
open up the
right,
door
uh-huh.
and take their coffee grounds, you know, and it would
Oh,
leak and
Yeah, and there was
And-
probably smell.
and it would break. You know, they
Oh.
took it out. You know, you pick up a paper sack because there wasn't plastic.
You got in trouble for having a
then.
messy garbage can.
Yeah, and I got in trouble because of that.
Yeah, I think any kind of garbage like that had to be wrapped in newspaper.
I don't remember that,
Oh,
but
yes.
I got in trouble so much. And then I remember. Then I went and stayed at Grandma's
Out at the
in
ranch house?
Anaheim.
Oh, in Anaheim,
Yeah,
right.
in Anaheim.
That's right, because you were probably about 16 or so.
No,
out
I
there.
was older than that. I was out of school.
Well, no, and you,
No, I
you
was
went,
still
you
in
went to high school. You
Yeah,
went to
I went to high
senior
school
class.
in Anaheim.
Yeah. You were 17 maybe.
Yeah,
Probably 18. No.
probably 17 because
Yeah.
I probably graduated in
Yeah.
18.
And then your parents, they sold their motel.
Well, see, that's
And
why
then
we
they
got
moved
down
down?
here.
That's why you came
That's
down.
why we came here because they sold it.
Because I remember they had a big house further over toward where the church is, where they rented a house there. Great big,
Oh yeah, we lived on Ohio Street.
yeah.
Yeah.
Rather nice, but nothing elegant, but it's an older house
Right.
and a big house.
And it was
yeah.
a big house,
Yeah.
yeah. We lived upstairs. What was it I'm gonna say? I got in trouble.
I don't know.
I
what,
got in trouble.
what
a
was your
lot.
dad doing down here then?
Well, Daddy wasn't working because they sold the motel.
Yeah.
That
And
was
we
your
didn't have a
job.
place to live.
Yeah, but then they moved down to Anaheim.
And
now.
so they moved to
I
Anaheim.
don't recall.
Wow. So tell a little bit more about Halloween, because Ira is so into Halloween and just so you'd have, what you'd have out on the front porch? Because Keith's gonna record it now, the little Halloween story.
Well, no, because this is winter time. It's cold in Washington and
Right.
at Halloween, but it was inside. But I mean, we had corn stalks all around because we had plenty of those out in the fields there.
right.
But
And
I remember
everybody really-
I had one job there. We had the ironing board there with a sheet on it, you know.
Oh, good,
and
good.
I think I was behind the ironing board holding a rubber glove full of ice water. Come in and let you shake hands with the guys. Then you had the French doors there, and then they went into the
Yes,
to the
living room.
living room. And remember we had remember those cutout things of cats or ghosts. I don't know. We'd tack on the wall.
Yeah, they were all over. I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, my mother had a lot of stuff like that, and Thanksgiving too, she had stuff like that. We'd tack it up on the wall, like things you buy in the dime store or something. Yeah, you know, that house was not very large, but you'd be surprised how many people could
Nice.
It was pretty large.
Yeah, because
You
that
went
big
in-
living room and then you went into the dining room.
Yeah.
It was pretty
The dining
large.
room sat
Yeah.
a lot of people.
Oh yeah, 12. That huge table.
Harold, refresh my memory on your relatives. Now, Barbara,
She is well, she's the daughter of my sister.
Who was the
just
second
okay.
oldest?
I have one sister. My sister was about 15, 18 years older than I am.
And that was,
And so therefore, I was about 10 years old when she was born. So Barbara is now 80 years old. But and I'm her uncle. Now this is the daughter of one of my brothers, a brother who's just about my age.
Okay.
a couple
so-
of years older, yeah. Mm-hmm. And there's another 10-year gap.
So this really, she's my
She's a niece.
niece. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
You're both
And-
nieces, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Am I the
We're both
am I the
nieces.
youngest niece?
No, Bev.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. And then I have 2 sisters, so with 3
Yeah.
nieces, right?
Well, I'm glad you're all here. Anyway,
Well, I'm glad they're all here too. I didn't expect them at all.
We surprised them.
Well, she's
She's had a busy couple days.
yeah. And least of all, I never expected her. She lives up in Spokane,
yeah,
Washington.
I know she lives in Spokane. She told me yesterday.
and these people live up at Aptos, which is near Santa Cruz.
So we drove down.
There's Santa Cruz, okay.
You know where that is?
Yeah,
Yeah, over from San Jose by the beach.
And Keith spent his working at Stanford University.
working at Stanford as
Right.
opposed to
As opposed to being a bum.
Pretty good school.
Santa Barbara. It's not Santa Barbara.
It's in Palo Alto.
Santa Cruz.
It's,
In the Bay Area.
It's in Palo Alto.
I have a niece who has been accepted at Santa Barbara. She's also been accepted at Santa Cruz.
UC Santa Cruz,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
and UC San Diego,
Okay.
and also at Tulane.
Wow.
Tulane.
Accepted all those schools.
Wow.
That's
Where will she go?
New Orleans, I think.
Yeah,
It's in New Orleans.
right. Has she decided?
She hasn't made up her mind yet, but she has to by the 20th or something like May.
Of May. She has till the 20th of May.
They have to have their money in. So she's got to make a decision as to where she wants to go.
Right.
I think she'll go to Tulane myself.
Hmm.
She has a couple of friends already at Tulane.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
She was captain of her own basketball team in high school, and she broke her leg on
Oh, no.
the last play of the last game of the year.
Good heaven. Oh,
dear.
wow.
How long ago was that? A month or so ago?
She's going in, have her leg operated on
Oh, no.
this month.
Oh, gee.
And she was a real basketball player then. I
She's a
mean,
real, well, she's a real athlete, no matter what. She's,
oh, gee, what a tragedy.
basketball and swimming, and she was, and very, very attractive, I might add. She's,
And where does she live now?
Washington D.C.
Did you ever play any sports?
Never did.
I know,
No,
I know, of course, Irv was a big baseball
Oh,
player.
golly, yes. Irving was into everything.
You should
No, my handicap was with my eye, and I didn't realize why I couldn't, why I didn't have depth perception or something like that.
Right.
And so in playing sports, I was the last one to be chosen. Nobody wanted to play with a dummy who and
And when did you
Nobody wanted to
lose?
play with me.
I know, when did you lose your
We
eyesight?
did, the kids did.
I don't even remember. I think
Maybe
it was
when you were 3?
probably around 2-3 years old,
Wow, was with one eye.
out in the front yard,
Oh, he had an accident.
trying to poke a wire up the faucet to make the water come out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But I think it was
When did
about
that happen?
when I was
Maybe
about,
it's 2 or 3.
about 2 or 3, I don't really
Oh,
remember.
is that right?
So
I
he
don't
has
Yeah.
think
one
I
good
ever
eye.
Yeah,
Only has
was
one
told
good eye.
that.
yeah.
And, yeah, unfortunately, it's
Now he's
Gordon
getting
had one eye
injections
because
in
he
his
Yeah.
eye.
was
It's
climbing up
getting
in
better.
the cupboard.
No,
It's getting
no,
better.
Gordon
Yeah.
only had one eye because he and his friends found some bullets
Bullets up
in
on the
a-
cupboard.
in an old house or someplace,
this is his brother
and-
he's talking about.
and playing with the bullets, and he shot off, lost a couple fingers and lost an eye.
Oh, wow.
Whoa. And how old was he when that happened?
Oh,
Oh, golly.
he
Teenager?
was young.
Yeah, he was teenager or younger probably, yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
I forgot that.
And then how old was he when he was killed?
Gordon must have been about, well, he died about 1948 or so, 49. He died before 1950, I know.
Yes, he
There
did.
seems to have always been some question about what happened, huh?
Yeah,
No, but he was.
Its suggestion is that probably he wasn't probably a very well-liked boss, and the riding up in those elevators from the mines, and they weren't cages, they were platforms,
Oh.
and somebody probably just gave him a nudge, and that was the end of Gordon.
He
That's
turned.
what we
He
think.
turned around. He had some gold, a rock, in his hand,
Really?
and
Oh,
he turned around and he got caught on. There were just boards
yeah.
in the elevator
With the
shaft,
gold
and he turned around and it
sticking out?
caught him.
We're talking about one of my brothers who was a
But-
gold miner in the Philippine Islands. But-
How sure are you of that story? I mean,
Yeah,
they would make something up if somebody pushed him off.
Yeah.
Because
Who
that
told you that?
came from Gordon.
Well, somebody
Yeah.
told me about that.
So he was still alive?
No, he died, but I mean, his workers, his boss or
The ones that pushed him off?
yeah, no, they didn't do
Who knows?
that. They
Who
didn't
knows?
do that.
I think 'cause those people were slave drivers. They treated those
They had to
Those-
really work hard.
the
And you
Filipino
can
workers
see,
like
you had something in your hand and you wanted to you turned around to show somebody in the elevator, in the shaft.
Well, she was pretty close in touch with him because he wanted to know what she wanted for a graduation present from high school. So they were in touch with the people who knew him.
But the only people that would know exactly what happened
Yeah.
were the people on that platform. with him.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's suspicious.
Yeah.
Right, right.
Never be able to prove anything.
Yeah.
Never. I don't think nobody ever did. But that was after he was in a prison camp.
Yeah, he spent
He
about 4 years or 5 years in a Japanese prisoner of war camp.
in Los Tomas.
He's lucky he
Los
survived
Tomas.
that.
Yes.
Los Baños. No. Anyway.
Los Tomas?
Santo Tomas.
Santa Tomas.
Yes.
Nice.
Santo Tomas, I
And
think.
it was an American. It was the.
I think it was in a university.
Yeah, it was an American
Yeah.
prison, concentration camp.
Why was he in an American one?
Well,
It's
because
just 'cause it's a
he was American.
Building, well, no, I think this is a good building where they could
It was.
I see.
could lock people up. It was a-
It was the last
It was a
one.
jail.
It was the Japanese that locked him up.
Oh, yeah.
Right, but it was the first one that they released all of them. It was MacArthur.
Really? Oh.
Yes. It was the one concentration camp that was released first.
When
After the
MacArthur
war,
showed
yeah.
up, yeah.
No.
Yeah, you've had a lot of disasters in your family because then there was your dad.
Yeah.
who
See,
was-
I was about
I never heard about
You was
that.
about
Harold.
16? Were you 16?
15 then.
15? Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Were they eating oranges? They had just got some oranges. That's what I
When
was
they were
told.
driving
No,
to
they were
California?
driving
they were
on
driving
their
from
way to-
Washington to California.
On their way for their summer vacation in Anaheim. And this is my mother and dad, but the thing is, my mother was driving.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Maybe I shouldn't say that, but
No, we
What
knew
difference does it
that.
make?
yeah, well, that's true. But my mother was driving, and probably that's why she survived, because she was holding onto the steering wheel. He was in the driver's side,
Yeah.
rider's side.
There was no safety.
And the car
No
flipped over,
safety.
and it broke his neck.
He was a big man.
No seat belts.
No
nothing,
seatbelt.
nothing.
How tall was he? I didn't know.
He was-
Oh, Papa was, he was about 6 feet.
He was tall.
About the same as you? Are you 6 feet?
Yeah, I'm just a little over.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he was, yeah, I was,
Well,
about-
Richard is even taller.
yeah, he's the
About
tallest of the family.
6'2".
Well, Ed is pretty tall too, but.
Was
Was he?
Richard
How
is-
tall was he, Uncle Ed?
About,
Like you?
I think no taller than me,
Huh, wow.
but,
Yeah.
So I guess my dad was a shorty.
no, when he died, then he was alive, and,
He didn't die right away.
no, he did not die right away, but
Who are
he
you
wa-
talking
he-
about?
My father.
Oh, your father.
But he was completely paralyzed though. His neck was broken,
How are you doing?
Yeah.
okay? That would be welcome.
But
Thank you.
in those
Thank you.
days, they didn't do a
It's your
lot.
birthday.
Right.
How about you?
In those
Wow.
days, they didn't,
They didn't do a lot.
they could,
You know.
break your neck. I mean,
But
Yes, yeah, I remember.
thank you.
Then my mother came home when he was in the hospital, and Pearl went down,
go down and, huh?
and then in the meantime, then he died. I don't know if somebody was there with him at that
Well, I think
time.
my mom and Richard and Irving drove to,
Really? Drove down there?
where was it at?
It was in Chico,
in
I think
Chico,
Chico, yeah,
California.
California, yeah.
Is that right? They drove down?
They
I didn't know
drove
that.
straight
My,
through.
my
Oh,
dad,
they did,
my
okay.
dad and your mom and who else?
Richard,
Oh, the three of them. The three, they were,
Well, Chico, I don't
But
think there are a lot of oranges around Chico. So.
no.
But he was dead by the time they got there.
Yeah.
See, I have a little lizard running around out here in the
Wow.
backyard. It's been there for a couple of years.
Huh.
what?
A little lizard.
A lizard.
It's just in the shadow that you can't see it.
Really? Wow.
It moved, I guess. Huh?
Yeah.
Let me see, then we were talking, this is like 6 years later or something. We were wondering then, Grandma, then she met Grandpa Bill. Where did she meet him? We're talking about, sort of jump into it so quickly when
Where
she
did
remarried.
let's see, where did my mother meet Bill?
Back east.
It was back east
She said in
someplace.
New York, but is that right?
Well, no, she was back in Minneapolis or St. Paul.
Oh, to see her
Visiting relatives
family.
there. Because the Bill was originally from Buffalo, New York.
Oh.
But I don't quite know.
Into the New York.
Oh, I know. She met him through the Helvies, which would be a distant cousin of my mother. Some people lived in Los Angeles. They were friends of. They introduced Bill to her.
Oh, really?
Yes, the Helvies. Yes,
Back there and,
yes.
I
There
didn't know
there were some
that.
good friends of ours who lived
oh.
in Los Angeles. My mother
Uh-huh.
and Bill and I used to go in and visit them all the time.
Hmm,
Yeah, that's right.
I didn't know that.
no. It's so interesting to get
come I
clarity,
didn't know that?
hear about
We are
the history.
we are reliving history, Ellen.
Yeah, we're just fascinated with it all.
Put it together like a puzzle.
When we're not here, then we're talking about, well, I wonder where they met. And so then we come here and we ask him.
Yes, I know. She met him through the Helvies, and she was a distant Hilda Helvey. Yes.
Hilda Heldy.
But I think she brought him home, or he came to Kent. Or she brought him home to
Maybe
get
he came to visit.
approval from the family.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Were any of you at the wedding?
You know, you have to.
Were you people at the wedding?
You could have been. I,
When was the wedding? In 49?
At the ranch house?
No, it was at the ranch
Yeah,
house.
on a Sunday afternoon,
Wow.
after church, the minister came there to the church.
Wow.
no, I wasn't in this family for another 15
Oh, no.
years.
Let me see. I was gonna say, when were they married? I wrote it down here someplace. Oh, they were married in 1944.
Oh, okay.
April 23rd, 1944. I don't have too many dates here, but
2 years after your
that one.
parents were married.
Good.
Right, 2 years after my parents were married. Wow.
Yes,
yeah.
I
Well, what
remember
else do you
David
have?
drove up
I have hardly
in
anything.
the afternoon in the car, and we tied tin cans in the back end of the car.
I don't think I was there.
And was the wedding out in the yard?
No, it was.
You would have been 12, I guess.
Well, it was in April.
It was inside.
I would have been
It was
12.
11 or
inside.
12, yeah.
Oh.
And it wasn't a big thing. It was
No.
just the
I wasn't there.
people, weren't a
I
lot
would
of
have
people
remembered that.
invited.
Yeah.
I think so,
Some
yeah.
close
And
friends
I
and
remember,
family.
and where did they go on their honeymoon? They
Right.
drove into Seattle. Do you remember the Vance Hotel?
No.
The Vance Hotel.
Huh.
It's I'm trying to think where it's
In Seattle?
in Seattle. That's where
So let's see how. So Grandma was about 55, I guess, or 56.
Who was?
Grandma, when she got married again, was she about 56? I guess. She was born in 85, and this
Oh, yeah.
was
85.
40, 50, or yeah, about 56, 57 or
Uh-huh.
something like that. Huh. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. My father was young when he died, so he was about 30, 38.
But she outlived both
39.
of them.
Oh,
Huh.
I think
What would have happened to my father had he lived?
Yeah.
Oh,
The
wow.
way he was
The way he was
he was
moving.
a sharp one
Yeah.
in doing
Oh,
big
yeah.
property deals and that.
During the Depression,
Oh,
he
yeah.
was, somehow he came up with money
Oh, yeah.
to build buildings.
Oh, he
Things
was
were cheap
always,
and
he
labor
was
was
always
cheap.
doing
And
that.
it going to Hawaii for buildings, and down here at
Oh,
the
yeah, but
Presidio in
where
San
he
Francisco.
really got started, though, building all
did.
those little apartment buildings,
It's-
about
yeah.
1930, 31, 32.
He was the contractor for the air base in Hawaii
Hickam
before.
Field, yeah.
Oh, really? The one that got bombed?
Before the
He,
bomb.
it was
Oh.
what was the name of the field?
But you know what? They had to eat, Harold. I mean, I'm telling you what I know, what's in my bank. They had to eat lard shortening on bread because they sold their butter.
Wow.
Who did?
Oh, really?
Yes, I know that.
Wow.
That's what I was told. You
Yeah.
know, that's when they would go to the public market in Seattle from Kent. Can you imagine what a long drive that was to sell
in the
butter
day, yeah.
and eggs?
I tell you an interesting thing about my father told me this, is that one of his first jobs in Seattle was laying bricks on the Providence Hospital in Seattle. You know, that's a big hospital, in Seattle,
right.
big Catholic hospital. And one of the nuns was watching the workers there and saw him. He was laying bricks there, and she said, "Where's your level? Every bricklayer has to have a level." And he says, he told her, "Well, I don't need a level. I have an excellent eye," or something like that, and I don't need a level.
Well,
He didn't have one, because every bricklayer is supposed to have a level.
Right.
He
And
could
the building
not-
didn't turn out like this.
He couldn't write his name either.
Who?
Really?
My fairies were here.
Did she drive a car? She drove a car then. I remember when she learned to drive.
Really?
My father bought a new car, a new Studebaker, and he gave her the old Studebaker. And I remember when driving, her one problem was to take that corner and go up over the railroad tracks and then down. That was, she couldn't do that, and so somebody would have to drive the car, go with her to drive that over the tracks and down, then she could go
Oh,
on.
she couldn't shift or something?
Well, it was just that going up over the railroad tracks and down, it was a little too dangerous for her. She's afraid.
Wow.
That was a dip, though. That
It
you
did
know,
go up a ways.
going over the railroad tracks.
Yeah. Yeah, that was something when,
But she wouldn't like driving in
Yeah.
the traffic we have today.
right.
But she liked working on the farm. You said she worked on the
You know,
farm like
that's
a man.
interesting, in this, by the the depression was going on, but, you know, my father, he bought a new car almost every year, turned in the old car.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Remember one year, we had the Chrysler Airflow.
Yeah, so he was doing okay.
He was, because I just wonder whatever would have happened to him.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
If he was doing that during the
Every
Depression,
Every
then
year.
yeah.
And they bought a farm, but he wasn't really interested in the farm. But as long as Grandma would farm, then he could go put on his suit and drive to Seattle.
Yeah,
He's a businessman.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. He said, I'll buy the farm for you, we'll live on the farm, but I won't have anything to do with it. It's your baby, and, because every morning he would be up by 7 o'clock and be in the kitchen there with his straight razor, you know, shaving and,
Right.
and off to the city. And he dressed up every day with suit and tie.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, well, that's what you did as a businessman.
Yeah.
And then he got home pretty late.
No, he always, he came home about 5 o'clock. Yeah, I remember sometimes when Irving and I would be right in town with him, he'd always give us a nickel, and we could buy the Seattle Times was 3 cents, and the Seattle Star was 2 cents. So we'd buy the 2 newspapers for him. Those were the big newspapers of Seattle. 5 cents
Times
to get
have
the two papers.
Oh my gosh. So he'd be working in the office and you guys would go off.
Well, where we'd be working, he had an office in downtown there, and we would.
You guys would just run around?
We would meet him at the office.
Could you stay walking around town all day?
Oh yeah, oh sure. We'd
Can
go
you
to
imagine
we'd
what,
go to the Embassy Theater where it had a triple bill and like all the different theaters. Yeah, we'd be on our own.
Wow.
you can imagine what Seattle was like then.
Yeah. Wow.
Probably horses and
Oh no, there were no horses then.
Although probably out
Yeah,
in Kent, I'll bet there were though.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I know, but
But here's the thing: you drive into Seattle now on the freeway, and you have to look to try to find the Smith Tower, because it's just
Yes.
this little building here. It used to be the tallest
Yeah,
building
the
in the
tallest
Northwest.
yes, sometimes I see pictures of Seattle, and once in a while you can spot the Smith Tower and
I remember going up in it as a kid. It was a big deal, you know. We'd go to Seattle and get to go up in the Smith Tower.
you know, I'd never been up in the Smith Tower.
it's the tallest building west of Chicago.
It was.
I worked just about a couple blocks from there.
Yeah.
Never
Well,
went up in it.
That's the thing, you know.
Oh, wow.
When it's
Yeah,
close
when
by,
it's so close.
yeah, things have changed all right. Yeah, well, Seattle is, I mean, it's congested. Yeah,
It's
you're right.
terrible to
Yeah.
go down into.
Especially if you're
But
not
it
during
was-
off hours.
It was fine then, you know.
But Seattle still has a downtown area for shopping in
It
it, doesn't
does. It does. Right.
The department
Not a
stores,
lot
right?
though, not like it used
Pike
to
Street
be.
Market and a few.
But yeah, we
other-
always see, we see
Right,
pictures
there's
of Seattle.
that, but I don't know what else.
Nordstrom.
Don't they have the
I don't
Bon,
know.
does the Bon Marché exist?
I'm not sure.
Frederick
But I'm
Nelson's?
sure it's gone.
And
Yeah.
Rose Department Store?
Yeah, I'm not.
You know, my mom used to take me, you know, 'cause she was a sewer. And we'd have to go where there was material. At Gilman's. Gilman's was the big material store.
Fabrics, oh.
And they had wooden floors, you know.
Yeah.
I used to
Nice.
just, I'd
Oh, I know. Thinking of wooden floors, remember where they would, if you had some money and you wanna, and they could change, they put it in a little carton, a little round cylinder thing, and then they put, woof,
Yes,
Oh,
and it
pull
would
it
go
thing,
across.
shoot it up.
Yeah.
Right,
Like
like
here.
at Penny's, J.C. Penny's or
Penny's
something.
had it.
Yeah.
Right
You
down.
know,
Yes.
there was some place
had
where they
one.
still had that.
Kent.
Where was that? We
I
saw that.
don't
Was it
know.
in Europe somewhere?
I can't
It's sort of
remember.
upgraded. I mean, it's more high tech, but they did the
Someplace.
same thing.
So
Yeah.
one person is a cashier there.
Right, yeah,
Yeah.
and they were up securely away. And
Yeah,
Do you remember those?
Yeah,
yeah, the little canisters, and just a vacuum and just suck it right up to.
yeah.
I
Or-
was,
or
I was
it-
brought up in Massachusetts.
Oh, okay,
Oh.
whereabouts?
Uh-huh.
I remember all those things, the same things you're talking about.
Yeah.
that you-
Yeah.
And did you get your foot x-rayed when you went to look for new shoes?
Oh, yes.
Ew, yeah,
Oh, yes,
go in
yes.
there as many times
Yes,
as you
perfect
want it.
fit.
That's, we had to go to Yakima for that, but I always wanted to go in there. Who knows what that did to my
Yeah,
feet?
those are, they say are harmful to
Yeah,
people.
very.
I know.
So I might get foot cancer
And
someday.
they let
Yeah.
kids just go in there.
Oh yeah, we'd run into the store, not to buy shoes, but just to look at our feet,
Oh, sure.
see the bones.
You know, you were never around when, you know, when they had their gardens during the war,
Victory Gardens.
the vegetable gardens,
Right.
and they were raising it.
Right, because
And
they didn't
that
go.
kept them out of the service.
Right, because they weren't in the war, right?
And so, okay, I could go down to Long Acres. We had the truck and went down to Long Acres to sell corn. And I was
Oh,
to
yes.
get paid.
Yeah. You
I
have to
never
sell
saw
corn.
money from that.
Yes, that's what we had talked about, our corn stands.
Yeah.
Right.
When the races were over, people would always buy
Oh, what a
corn.
Oh,
great
yeah.
place, the horse races down there.
And it was a perfect location. But
Oh,
I never got paid for that.
But
Right.
did you go down with Irving and I, sell
Huh?
corn, or, because Irving and I always,
Yeah.
we worked at the corn stand. We
Right,
made
right.
quite a bit of money.
Irving and Richard.
We
were-
would sell them for, yeah, I was used to do that too.
When you were
75
just-
cents a dozen.
Oh,
Or
no,
50 cents or 75 cents a dozen.
we didn't get
when-
that much.
That was later.
Well, that was later when I would do that.
And we'd always,
You're
part of that
lucky
money-
to get an ear for 5 cents now.
well, it's 3 for $1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you
And
get a good
that's
deal.
a good
corn,
deal.
though.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
yeah, we'd have extra money for the Puyallup Fair.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And the scones with the raspberry.
Oh, yes, Fisher Brothers scones with the
Oh.
raspberry.
Yeah.
Jam.
Oh man.
Yeah, we went to the.
And I remember one year, we couldn't go to this Puyallup Fair because of infantile paralysis.
You're right.
And they canceled but nobody went.
Right.
Wow. Hmm.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Well, you
Yeah.
remember the big
You-
polio scare, though.
The polio.
Yeah.
Yeah, they shut down our swimming pool in the summer where I was, and everybody was really frightened because I had friends that actually were paralyzed or
Sure.
actually died.
And I see pictures of people in those gripping metal tanks.
Yeah, iron
Right,
lungs.
right, right.
Yeah, there's still a couple of those left, and the people that actually need that now, they don't. You don't have to be in an iron lung. They actually have ventilators that they can just put on their chest. They don't have to be stuck inside. But yeah, they've almost eliminated polio, except that in some
Right,
places.
you don't.
In
yeah,
some
but-
places in Africa, some of these radical groups are saying that it's Western poison or something like
Oh,
that.
yeah, yeah.
And they're actually killing the doctors and nurses that are giving the polio vaccines, trying to wipe it out.
Smallpox was another thing.
That's gone, that's gone.
That's gone, yeah. Although they have it preserved in laboratories. And the
Remember,
thing is, since, I mean, in a generation or two, people have no immunity to that. So if it ever gets released again, we'll be like the Native Americans.
oh, yes, how the Indians died off from all our measles and
Right.
whooping cough and whatnot.
Because they don't give smallpox vaccinations in this country anymore.
Hmm.
Because there's no need for it. There's no incidence of it. If you travel to Central Africa or someplace like that, I think you'd have to get it.
Because I remember the first time I starting traveling in the 1950s, in the 40s, how you had to have a smallpox shot almost wherever you traveled.
Mhm.
You had to produce a certificate.
Yeah.
I think I must have a immunity to a lot of things because I know my mom had me sleep with Valen and he had whooping cough. so that I could get whooping cough,
shit.
you know.
Yeah, they used to do that. I remember they used to do that with the mumps too.
And I've never had the mumps. My kids have
Really?
never had the mumps.
But
And
Oh my
her mother would be with somebody with whooping cough, so she would get immunity, is that it?
Yeah, they used to put kids together. If one
Yeah.
kid was sick,
if they didn't
they'd
get
put
it,
another kid just so that they get it over with.
Oh,
we had 5 boys live next to us, and they all had the mumps, you know, at different times, you know. And so I would send my kids over there. You can go over to Clausen's and play, and they did. None of my kids got the mumps,
oh.
But
Wow.
they probably have the immunity though.
and I never had the mumps.
My mother got it actually.
Huh.
I got the mumps and then she got it. And she was pretty miserable. For me, it wasn't a big deal.
Yes.
I was probably 12 years old or something.
Yeah,
10 or
I got
12.
a slight case of the mumps when I started my first few years of teaching.
Oh yeah?
It didn't, I don't know if I kept on teaching or not, but it wasn't severe, but they told me it was the mumps that I had.
Yeah, but they vaccinate for that now too. Whooping cough, diphtheria, polio. No, they don't have to do
Well, they
polio.
say, I even asked my doctor, I says, shouldn't Darren have a shot for mumps? He says if he hasn't had him yet, he's not gonna get him.
How old is he?
Well, Darren now is
Yeah.
40.
Okay, but when was this?
Oh, when he was a little boy.
Yeah.
Because they always said that they should have, a boy should have the mumps.
Right.
Well, I suggest I hate to
Yeah.
We need to cut the
cut
cake.
into that beautiful
Yes.
Right,
thing.
let's do
It is really a shame to have to destroy the beauty of that thing.
You know, I mentioned to Carla, and I don't know if
Something out of a comedy.
Yeah.
Like the police did,
Well, you know
what it's
that,
called.
you know, well, what else do you do?
Yeah.
You know? So, I mean, I had a lot of experiences like that.
We've been reminiscing. Yeah.
I had a good old store back door, don't I?
Yeah,
For
really.
remembering
So if
things.
we're hungry.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, is it you want to go to the,
Yes.
and I'm treating you.
Did you? Birthday to you.
Oh, cheers.
Yay! Cheers!
Here's
Many
to,
more.
here's to good friends. Oh.
Keith said